guys, and welcome back. Today, I'm gonna tell you why your builds look bad. With these few tips and tricks, your builds will go from looking like this to this. That's right, guys. Like a Band-Aid, a lot of times we build stuff. Wait. Building stuff wasn't like the Band-Aid. I was ripping it off like the Band-Aid, and it just, Anyways, a lot of times we build stuff on Roblox and it just doesn't have that wow. It doesn't feel like a great build. Heck, we might have some decent assets, which we do here, but it still just feels like, what's missing? Guys, today I'm going to show you how to take your build. We have this scene to work with today. From this, well, to this. And it's a couple very easy steps. The first thing that you want to do before anything, guys, lighting. Basic Roblox lighting is not where it's at. It just looks flat and it doesn't give any bit of a wow factor. Now, I've already made the lighting for this scene, so I will load those settings in with this plugin. There we go. I wanted a nighttime scene. It's going to really accent the fire that's going to be happening. Very, very nice. And here's my settings within the lighting. If any of you guys are curious, these are the settings here. Atmosphere, sky, color correction, sun rays. Those are the settings. You could pause or do whatever you want to do if you're building a nighttime scene as well. I really like this. Stars. We still have a bit of light in the background as well. So that is step number one. Do not neglect lighting. It's honestly one of the more important steps. Up next, guys, is particles. Obviously, I have a fire one, which is okay, but we could do a lot better. And secondly, we could do something with this water. So here's a waterfall. And since we added a waterfall, there's also a sound that goes along with that, but we'll get into sounds here in a moment. Particles easily offer movement to your game. Heck, here's a butterfly particle that I could put right here. And it just has random butterflies within the map. Another very cool addition. I even have this particle that's just fish jumping out of the water. Once again, a very cool thing that just adds life into a map. Now, you can easily go overboard with particles, which, in this small of a scene, I definitely have. Butterflies, fish, waterfall, fire. There's a lot going on. But particles are the number one way you can make your map feel more alive and interesting, and that is another reason I have the real terrain grass. It's already moving, it makes the map feel more alive. After lighting, movement is by far the most important thing you can add to your map. Now, this fireplace looks a little weak. After all, we have a fire, but no light coming off of it. And this particle is pretty bad too. Much better. Now we have a little bit nicer of a fire particle, and I've put a point light inside of this to make it feel like it's actually part of the environment. Lighting is not only important when it comes to your skyboxes and your atmospheres, it's very important when it comes to props in your game. Whether that's a fire pit, a light post, a lantern sitting on a bench, or heck, maybe a magical crystal or mushroom, guys. Adding a point light or surface light, any type of light Roblox has to offer, will tremendously help out your game. So now we have particles that add movement into our game. We have lighting that build an atmosphere. How can we add more movement into most scenes? Guys, Wind Shake. This is a game changer. I have a plugin called Scene Tools that I made with my friend RoboCrafter, and it lets you easily add any of this stuff. Wind Shake is at the bottom, and that's what we're going to discuss today. I'm going to grab all of the leaves. Not all of them, but most of the leaves on the trees, pretty much the ones that have two. The pine trees don't really look that great with Wind Shake unless you separated them. But I'm just gonna grab all of those and click this Wind Shake add-on. And then when we click play, the trees will be moving as well, like there's wind blowing. Once again, adding more movement. Now that we have our movement and our lighting, what could we possibly add to make this feel like a more immersive environment? Sounds, guys. All builders, and not all of them, but I would say a good 80% of Roblox builders completely forget about sounds or audios from the toolbox. Guys, a fire pit could have a fire crackling sound, really adding the immersion into your scene. The waterfall could have a waterfall sound or some sort of running water. Heck, if you had a bigger pond, you could even give the fish particle a little sound that is a splash every time one lands in. That would be a little bit harder, but it's definitely possible. So I found this fire cracking sound in the toolbox, and all you need to do is make sure that it is playing, and you want to make sure that it is looped. I also found a sound for this waterfall, so we're going to do the same. Make sure it's looped and is playing. And now if we click play here on our scene, check this out. As you can see, with just a few extra things, particles, sounds, movement, and lighting, your scene goes from average to pretty dang amazing. And with how easy it is to add in sounds or particles, it's just that one extra step that goes above and beyond. If you wanted to go even more, you can start combining things. We're talking about lighting and movement. How about a day-night cycle? Roblox also just introduced rotating skyboxes that you can do with scripts. So if you had maybe a nighttime on the top or daytime on the bottom, maybe a heaven and a hell, there could be anything, and you could rotate that skybox around your world to make it feel even more alive. However, be careful with that one because it gets very nauseating very fast. Now, we did discuss prop-specific sounds like the fire pit or the water. You can also have a world sound. So since this is a campsite, we could just type in nature in our toolbox. There we go. And day ambience, forest ambience. Perfect. It's got some birds, some wind. Great. We can insert this and we can make sure that it is looped and it's playing. And then we're just going to drag it down into our sound service. So now no matter where in the game you are, you will hear that nature ambience. And then when you start getting closer to our prop sounds like the fire or the waterfall, you will hear those as well. Once again, more immersion on your build. And once you understand that Roblox has all this stuff that's so easy to up your builds, you're leveling up. Straight up, you're leveling up. Another thing I've really been liking recently for most builds, especially the nighttime ones, is a fog/haze. Okay, check this out. This, you might not even be able to see on video. Like, I don't know if my bit rate or whatever in OBS is good enough. You can mainly see it up here, but it's a very soft and subtle haze that just adds like a whole extra beauty into builds. I don't know how else to explain it. I don't even think you'll be able to see it on the video. I'm not gonna lie, but it's just really, really nice. Anyways, that is how you take your scene or your build from maybe a 5 or a 7 to an 8 or a 9. It could be a 10 if you really spend your time on the assets, the sounds, the blah, 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 everything, and make everything work super cohesively. But start putting these tips into practice, and I'm sure you guys will be so much more happy with your stuff. That will wrap it up for today. If you did enjoy and want to see more content like this, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Have a great day. Later.